Okay, so we are reporting out of closed session. The item was public employee performance evaluation for the town manager. Feedback was given. Amy, do we have any other reportable item action other than giving feedback?
No.
Wonderful. That is it. So with that, we were going to adjourn our special meeting. And now I will open another agenda. And we are going to all to order. This is another special meeting, also Tuesday, June 18th of the Corte Madera Town Council. And this is a special meeting for the purpose of interviews for boards and commissions. Can we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Casissa?
Yes.
Councilmember Lee?
Here.
Councilmember Thomas? Here. Vice Mayor Ravazio? Here. Mayor Beckman?
Here. Thank you. All right, we're going to take public comment on our agenda item for this, which is interviews of advisory body applicants. The advisory body is the Planning Commission. If anybody in the public would like to make public comment on this item, you're welcome to come up to our podium, but we do not have any members of the public present with us at this time. If anybody's watching via Zoom and would like to make public comment, please go ahead and raise your hand via Zoom. Do we have any hands up on Zoom, Lorena?
We do not have any hands raised on Zoom or emailed public comment for this item.
Okay, thank you. So we'll close public comment on this item. So this is again, interviews for Planning Commission. I understand that there's the same number of applicants now as there are seats available. Is that correct? I'll turn it over to staff.
Correct. The applicant, Andrew Rogers, withdrew from the interview process. So he will not be present today. We did receive the written responses to the questions, and just for the record for the public, when this agenda was published, as we've done in the past, all of the applicants received questions in advance of the interview so that they know what they would be responding to when they come to interview with council. And Valerie Boscheuer, who emailed all of the council, provided her written responses, and that has been made available on the website for the public to view. She is unable to attend the interview via Zoom due to a time zone conflict and was unable to be here for that reason as well. So she will not be interviewing. And we do have two incumbents who are somewhere here in the building. I believe I saw them, who will be interviewing before you later today.
And I will just add on Valerie Boscheuer, there's nothing no written policy or anything like that sort of requires somebody to be here in person and interviewing. We have done interviews in different circumstances remotely. Obviously, in this case, that wasn't possible as well. Staff is recommending that we still move forward with this incumbent, Valerie. She has interviewed in the recent past with the town council, and as well did provide, obviously, the written comments to the questions so that not only the council members, but members of the public can see the responses as well. So we're recommending moving forward with her interview as a written interview in a sense.
Sounds good. So do we want to wait for the interviewees who are here in person to make their way to the chamber?
I can, thank you, Amy. We're okay to move it if they're ready.
And then, so did you say your plan was to read Valerie's written answers?
If that was the desire of the council, I can do that. Otherwise, it is available for the public to view. A copy is in the back. It's on the website. And I gave printed copies to all of you aside from the email I submitted.
Thank you.
Whatever you'd like me to do, I'm happy to do it.
We'll take a poll of the council members. I will say I personally feel that because she's an incumbent and a known quantity, and we've watched her track record over the last 2 years, is it? I feel comfortable waiving that reading, especially because there are no more applicants than there are seats open. All right, looks like we're in agreement.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Good Jeopardy.
Yeah, something. Oh, here comes Dan.
Hello, hello. Thanks for joining us. Perfect. Hi, Margaret. Welcome.
He's got a tight schedule.
Well, we're glad you came early, actually, because if you're ready, you're welcome. We can go ahead and get started here. Would you like that?
Okay.
Okay.
Well, Mayor, council members, my name is Margaret Bandel, and I've been on the Planning Commission for 3 terms. We're meeting here today in a building that is a remarkable achievement every Corte Maderan can be proud of. And it embodies many of the goals and objectives that we on the Planning Commission actually worked on over the past few years. Just outside, I met somebody who had come in to admire the building, and it really makes me feel wonderful after all the angst that the process caused to see people truly enjoying it. I'm motivated to apply for the Planning Commission. That was one of the, because initially there were building projects in my neighborhood maybe 10 years ago that I wanted to know more about. And then I had an interest in becoming active locally because I had worked at the county level for so many years. My background is in design and law. I have a bachelor and master's degree in design and environmental analysis from Cornell University. Design and environmental analysis is a multidisciplinary field that draws upon the principles of aesthetic judgment and analytic thinking to produce creative answers to human-centered questions. It's design that looks at the big picture. It requires an understanding, and I really think this is critical, of how the built environment intimately affects every aspect of our daily life. I earned a law degree after returning to school at 47, and I was a county attorney for 24 years, and I'm now in private practice. My legal experience has trained me to consider every aspect of an issue, that all absolutely must have the opportunity to participate. Open-mindedness is essential in the decision-making process, and to acknowledge that there's almost always a gray area present in every question. As far as the Planning Commission goes, I think that my background has added a broad picture view to the Planning Commission. I have no conflicts that prevent me from making an unbiased decision. And in the terms that I've been here, nothing has come up. Corte Madera and the Planning Commission has faced and will face huge and consequential challenges in the coming years. I'm sure you're all aware of that. My tenure on the Planning Commission has allowed me to work on a number of these issues, and they will continue to challenge us in the future. Issues like basic planning and design review, owners' rights, and neighborhood issues. We want to encourage design that's forward-thinking and innovative while maintaining the neighborhood character, and this town hall is a perfect example of that. We have issues of home inventory and mixed use zoning, the implementation of the housing element that was adopted, standards for building sustainability, sea level rise and climate change, including land settlement and flooded adaptation. And I know you all saw the flood project video, and I watched it again. It's pretty impressive. Fire safety, the renewed evaluation of design standards, and then the big one, the difficult path between navigating local and state control over regulation of land use.
And Margaret, I will mention, I'm seeing now that there was a little structure here, a little list of questions that I was supposed to ask. You've already really touched on all of them. So I'm happy to let you just kind of finish your remarks that you had wanted to make, or I can read you these questions and you're welcome to add anything additional that you haven't already covered if you'd like.
Whatever you prefer.
Okay, well, I'll just let you finish then, because I think I'm reading through the list of questions. You've really hit on everything. So I'm just going to let you finish your statement.
Well, I'd just like to say that in my decision-making process, and you've probably gathered this, I like the multidisciplinary approach. And I appreciate that we have so many different viewpoints and talents in our community and town government. And the more we draw upon those and the more we work together, the better we'll answer the questions that face us. Again, I really think that my guiding sort of principle is to realize that the built environment and has an impact on every aspect of our lives. Corte Madera has been my home for 40 years. I've seen it grown from a small town with a strip mall on either side of the highway to the huge, progressive, diverse community today that faces urban challenges that we have as we grow, and also trying to preserve the feelings of neighborhood that we all treasure. I feel privileged to have been a part of the Planning Commission, and I'd like to continue that work.
Great. Thank you so much. So you've done a great job of telling us about your background, your professional experience, and your experience on the Planning Commission. I think the only question on here that we didn't get to touch on yet, so I'll ask this question for, it says, please describe your strengths and weaknesses as it relates to being a commissioner, and how would you describe your problem-solving style and strategies for dealing with difficult situations or decision-making in a public setting? And it says, please include the following information in your response. How would you reconcile personal opinions and emotions should they conflict with the policies and regulations established by the town?
I haven't hit that issue before. However, in the law, you can't have a private opinion interfere with what you have in front of you. The various elements of decision-making are pretty clear. They're aesthetic design, multidisciplinary, looking at all the different aspects of pieces that are going to fit together in a project or an issue, getting everybody else's possible participation and allowing everybody to have a voice before a decision is made, doing the appropriate research and gathering all the right information, asking the right questions, and finally, realizing that the decision is going to impact many lives, and using all the aspects that are laid down in front of us by the planning department, by people in the community. You can't really let your private opinions interfere with that.
Thank you very much. Great. So I think you've hit on everything on our list of questions here. I just want to open it up in case any council members have any additional questions, and then we'll hear from our next applicant.
I have one additional, if it's
Yes,
okay.
please.
Hi, Margaret.
Hi.
I think your credentials are excellent. Your background is really well suited for the Planning Commission. Can you not hear me? I'll speak louder. I think our first responsibility as representatives of Corte Madera is to be civil, respectful, and kind. And I've noticed from you a tendency for some harsh rhetoric and some hurtful, even accusatory comments to applicants when they come before the Planning Commission. And I have at times felt like, ooh, that's not Corte Madera. And I'm just wondering if you think that you would be willing to accept this input regarding your decorum moving forward.
I'm sorry that it looks that way. I never have meant it to be anything but positive. I'm not that kind of person. And I hope that's not a very broad comment that people think of me.
So is it input that you think you could reflect on and consider? Thank you. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Any other additional questions for the applicant from council members? And if not, Margaret, thank you very much, and we'll invite Dan up. And Dan, I want to be fair and give you the same sort of process. So even though I didn't do a good job of following the questions here, so I'm happy to let you speak. If you want to just give some remarks, and then we can come back and hit any questions that we didn't get to, or if you want, we can just go through the list of questions here one by one. Your choice.
I have the responses in order of the questions.
Perfect. Okay.
If you don't read them, I can at least give you an inclination of where I'm at.
No, that's perfect. So we'll just go through the list then, since it sounds like you already organized it that way. So we'll start with an opening statement.
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you for having this opportunity. Last time when I was applying for the commission, I had some work commitments and couldn't make the meeting, and luckily got on because there were only 3 of us and there were 3 openings. So here I am. I would say that when I was in elementary school, my father and I would work on balsa wood models of houses and buildings for our HO train station. And I think that may be how I got influenced into becoming an architect, and then eventually a planner, urban designer. I feel really blessed because a lot of people don't have a career that they love. And I love what I've been doing, and hope I can continue to contribute. My wife and I came to Corte Madera from the Boston area 9.5 years ago. And it was the beauty of the place. And I think the warmness of the community that really attracted us to being here. We're pleased to be here, and I hope I can continue to contribute to making this a wonderful place. We have 2 children. They both live in the South Bay with their families. We like to hike and to travel, and I like to garden. My wife does the flowers, I do the vegetables. Why do I want to be on the commission? When I moved from working full-time to part-time, I really felt like I now had the opportunity to do some community service. And when the planning commission opportunity came up, I felt that my background, my education, really that was a great place for me to be able to do community service. I do feel that I've been able to make a contribution to the issues that come before the commission. And I also feel that both my education and background, but also being a planner, is a education and experience that doesn't exist with other commission members. Experience and expertise. I have a Master of Architecture and a Master of City Planning from the University of Pennsylvania. I'm a fellow of the American Institute of Architects. I am a emeritus registered architect in Massachusetts and Texas. I am a charter member of the American Institute of Certified Planners. And what that means is basically I'm old enough that I was there when they started the AICP. I also taught a class at Harvard Graduate School Design in executive education program in sustainable planning. So I hope I can continue to apply those credentials and experience as a planning commissioner. I don't believe I have any conflicts. I don't own any real estate other than my house, and I don't have any businesses in town. I don't believe I belong to any organization that would bring any conflicts. Obviously, if it did come up, I could recuse myself. Let's see. I think the next one had to do with the issues before the Planning Commission. First of all, I want to say that it's been a privilege to work with the planning staff. They do really excellent work, and they're very committed to what they do. And so it's a really good part of being here. When I was in Winchester in the Planning Commission, a community of 22,000 people, we had a town engineer who was the half-time planner. So having these resources that you have here is a real plus. The issues facing us, some of them are the kinds of things I've already seen before the commission. Obviously, design review continues to be a really important ongoing role. We've looked at ways of improving the ability of people to raise the elevation of the house for sea level rise, sustainability. We continue to work, and I'm a real advocate for sustainability in the community, us being a leadership in that area. But I think the real issues that are coming before the Planning Commission in the future, with the housing element being passed and approved, and with the zoning that goes along with making that possible, I think that's going to be a real game changer for the town. And I believe that my planning and urban design experience will be really useful as we look at development, mixed use, dense development in that area. And I also think as we start to look at the town-owned real estate and the opportunities they provide, both for town facilities, but also to enhance the vitality of town, I think those are areas where I can contribute. The issue about willingness to follow town policy and regulations, certainly those are paramount and important. I think we also have an obligation that if we see that there's opportunities to improve those things, that we bring it forward and we have an opportunity to have a dialogue about them and see if others agree, whether it's the Planning Commission, the Town Council, planning staff. But I certainly believe that there's a lot of really good regulations in town that really are our guiding light in our work. You asked about weaknesses. Well, I don't know if there's a weakness or not, but I really believe that design at every level is important. And so things like lighting, regulations, signage, walls, fences, those sometimes seem like, well, is that really important? Those are the big issues. But I really think they are important because if they accumulate over time, if we don't make good decisions about those things, it will have a much larger impact. I think that I asked about how to resolve conflict, and that's something I've certainly had to do in my career, 50-year career as a planner and architect. And I think there's three things I think about are being important. One is being a good listener. I think to be open-minded so you can hear different perspectives and open to them. And I think most important is to be creative and a problem solver and try to find win-win solutions. I could do a closing remark. Are there anything I missed
No, you have hit all four of the specific questions on here.
Okay. Well, I guess I think I bring, as a planner, urban designer, some skills to the commission that, are not there at the moment, or that, that we have architects and environmental designers and lawyers. But I think that is an important skill I can bring to the table. I think that, and particularly important given some of the issues coming forward in the next few years. And I would really appreciate the council's support for my renewed application. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we have any additional questions for Dan from council members? All right, seeing none, thank you very much. So that is going to conclude our interviews for the evening. So now we will have our deliberation. I don't know that there's much to deliberate about since we've got three incumbents graciously putting their hands up again for another term for 3 seats. So I think if any council members want to share any additional thoughts, we'll certainly welcome that. And I would just thank Pat for her earlier comments. I think it's never expected of a planning commissioner to like or support everything that comes before them. But I think it's important that we make sure when we're sharing our feedback on how we'd like to see a proposed project change, that we do so in a way that is constructive and really signals that the town is open for business, open to be a collaborative partner. And yes, we may either collectively as a community or individually as commissioners, we may have a vision that we'd like to see. But it's important to be cognizant of how we're communicating that to our applicants. So thank you for highlighting that. Any other thoughts from council members? Yeah, please.
I'll simply say that whenever I've had the opportunity to hear interviews in this chamber, I'm always very impressed by the amazing wealth of knowledge and experience that we have in our community, and that they are willing to step up. They are so well qualified, they could be doing something much more lucrative with their time. And I really appreciate the fact that you step forward and put yourself forward to serve. So that's all I want to say.
Well, then I think we can say to all three of our applicants, including the one who isn't here tonight, congratulations on your new terms on the Planning Commission, and also thank you for your service thus far. We really appreciate it.
I think
Thank
You
you.
both.
Thanks very much.
we do have to have a motion.
All right.
And it could be for all the members.
Thank you very much. Could we have a motion, please? I guess a motion to nominate 3 individuals for the Planning Commission.
I'll make the motion.
Point. Oh, yeah, I see. You have a second?
Sure. So, and I believe that was a motion to appoint Valerie Bashower, Margaret Bandel, and Daniel Kenny to the Corte Madera Planning Commission.
Sure was.
Second.
Okay. Councilmember Casissa?
Yes.
Councilmember Lee?
Yes.
Councilmember Thomas?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Ravazio?
Yes.
Mayor Beckman?
Yes.
Thank you. The motion carries.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Welcome back.
All right. And with that, we're going to adjourn this special meeting, and we will be in recess until 6:30 when the regular Corte Madera Town
Recording stopped.